Coach, looking at the new film from the other night and just previous games and where the team hasn't played as well as they did back in early January, what stands out to you that's maybe different with your team other than probably confidence and especially on the offensive end?
Yeah, we go through spurts offensively in games that puts us behind the eight ball. You never know when they're going to come, obviously. If we did, we'd do everything we could to avoid it. But we get out of sorts, and it's not one person. Like I said after the game, I felt like we were not balanced offensively, even in the first half when the game was close. And then, unfortunately, this team, when things aren't going well offensively, it affects other areas of our game. And every coach talks about having teams that understand that your mood, your personality, your effort can't change regardless of what's going on the offensive end. And it's a great theory. And certainly I've had teams that are better than others at it. But I think individually, which leads collectively to us having some of that in us, and it can't, in a league like the SEC, particularly this year, you're gonna have stretches where, you have some costly turnovers, some poor shooting, some frustration, and you've got to sprint back and build your defense and rely on that. And we've had times where that wasn't the case, and it's proved costly for us. I mean, the start of the second half, looking back on video, like our get back defense, I mean, I think 13 maybe, 12 or 13 of the points in that run were because of going from offense to defense and not setting our defense, and some people having some breakdowns in their responsibilities of doing that. And then we turned it over, I think 6 of our first 9 possessions offensively. And, when you're turning it over on the offense, that leads to, runouts by the other team. And then combined with what I just said about just our get back in general, that particular game got away from us. But big picture, people talk about our defensive numbers aren't as good, and they're not. But sometimes there's a lot that goes into that. Sometimes your offense, directly leads to poor defensive possessions as well.
Go to Sam in the middle, then we'll go to the end and Jacob.
Yeah, in terms of just getting more out of the offense, how much of that focus is also about just finding more from those secondary scorers that maybe you had kind of consistently at the beginning of the season and it's kind of faded away a little bit now?
Listen, I love this team. I love the guys in this team. I believe in these kids. And it's no secret, if you're following us closely, we have, as a team, and certainly some individuals, not shooting the ball as well as they're capable or as well as they have, in prior stretches of the season. And when you make a concerted effort to alter and tweak your roster to make it better offensively, to be able to score the ball better, you have to give up something usually, and we've given up a little bit of our girth and our size to be able to score it better. Well, when that scoring's not happening, it compounds because we're not as good defensively as maybe we've been in years past. So we can't rely on, turning defense into offense like we've done in the past as much. Certainly we're trying, and that's the goal. But, at the end of the day, we've got to figure out a way to score at the rim. That was an issue against Florida, and they have great size, but in that particular game, I didn't think it was altered because of their size. We just, tricked off some contested shots at the rim, and it gets in your head a little bit. I mean, I can see it in their body language. And then, we had some looks that just didn't go down for us, and it became frustrating for everybody in the building. Certainly our fan base can see it. Our players, can see it, and our job is to instill confidence in them and to, have short memories and help them to try to get even better looks on every possession that we have.
Ole Miss has some talented guards like Purdue and Murray, but how important is it to kind of contain Brakefield, and how tough of a matchup is it?
Yeah, that's what makes, one of the things that makes Ole Miss so good is their balance. You bring up Purdue and Murray, and certainly they deserve, a ton because of their ability, on both ends of the floor. They're tough-minded guards. They can score the ball in different ways. They're starting together now, and they're playing off one another. But I think it'd be a big mistake to just focus on those two guys because of the balance that they've created with their team, and they've got plenty of guys that are capable, and certainly Brakefield's one of them. He's playing at a high level. He's playing how you'd expect a guy with that much talent and that much experience and that much pride to play for his team, and he's having a really good season, especially lately.
Go behind Jacob to the second round. Danny P, go ahead.
Been a few weeks since we've seen Ole Miss, but lately they've been involved in some real close competitive games, one come from behind wins. Just what have you seen from them lately that's helped them get those results?
Yeah, I think every coach / program takes pride in winning close games. When you're preparing for your league as a coach, you constantly are talking to your team about how many close games we're probably going to have coming up, and what we need to do to make sure that we make great decisions and, keep playing, and, there's more time than you think, and execute when, there's only so many possessions left and you don't have time to make up for it. And they've obviously done an excellent job at doing those type of things, being able to win, games that come down to the last possession or two. And I think that probably gives them great confidence, with being in those situations because of the outcomes that have been for them, this season.
We'll go back to coaches left with Paul and Benjamin.
Coach, obviously, one of the big question marks going into the season was putting Keyshawn at the 5, and obviously he's handled himself well and rebounded well and becoming a pretty consistent scoring option. I know you've talked all the time about the confidence you had in Keyshawn, and you saw it this summer, but has he kind of surprised you with how well he has adapted to the 5, even though he's not your old school type center that you had with Tolu, but just how productive he's been in his first year playing there?
It hasn't, to be frank with you. I could see the talent, obviously, because of the access I have to him, since I've been here. And I know people are tired of hearing about it, but, the injuries prevented him from playing the minutes, that he needed to get his talent on the floor. And he just had some really tough breaks that way. But, knock on wood, he's been injury free, and he's getting comfortable with being a big minute guy. We talked about, he's a redshirt junior, but he might as well be a freshman in terms of experience, or at least a younger sophomore. But it doesn't surprise me. He's very, very skilled. He's invested. The whole program knows how much he's invested, how much he cares, how productive he was heading into the season. And the way we play lends itself to him to being able to play the 5 for us with, a lot of trapping when the ball goes inside, so he doesn't have to fight some bigger dudes, one-on-one defensively in the post. And then him having some advantages offensively against some of their big guys with his ability to get into that mid-range and bring those bigs away from the basket and not just try to, back those guys down and make it easier for the bigs to guard him. So, his touch, from 6 to 16 feet is, kind of old school, that way. But happy for him, and certainly it's about winning, and he's about winning, and but at the same time, he's become a reliable guy for us this season.